Brussels 2026. The headlines are stark. France signals observer status, talks with BRICS. European business leaders urge closer ties with new economic bloc. For decades, the West set the rules. The G7 was the executive board, the dollar its currency, and Western institutions the global referees. But on January 15, 2026, that certainty is gone. The BRICS bloc, now expanded and emboldened, is actively reshaping the global landscape. The conversation in Europe is no longer about if, but how to engage with BRICS, a group created to offer an alternative to Western dominance. This is a geopolitical earthquake. Behind closed doors in Paris and Rome, leaders quietly admit the post-Cold War era is over. Europe is caught between its traditional alliance with the US and the economic pull of BRICS, facing a historic choice. NATO officials worry about alliance cohesion. European foreign ministers scramble to secure economic futures without alienating old allies. The rise of BRICS is no longer abstract. It's forcing nations to reconsider long-held allegiances. The world built after 1945 and rebuilt after 1991 is being challenged by a diverse coalition demanding a greater voice and a fairer share of power. The West's narrative, set the rules, others follow, is crumbling. The rest have organized into a formidable powerhouse. BRICS is building its own institutions, trading in its own currencies, and setting its own agenda. The question in Brussels: how do we engage with BRICS? Ignoring this new reality is not an option. The bloc's massive markets, control over resources, and technological prowess are too strong to resist. Europe must now reassess its place in the 21st century. The world of 2026 is unrecognizable from the unipolar era after the Cold War. For decades, the West, led by the US, dominated global politics, economics, and culture. But the 2008 financial crisis exposed vulnerabilities, and emerging economies, especially China, surged ahead. Nations across Asia, Africa, and Latin America began seeking their own paths, building new alliances, and demanding a say in global affairs. The West's inward turn, wars, protectionism, and nationalism, created a vacuum. The global South, once passive, became assertive, demanding to be rule makers, not just rule takers. This environment set the stage for BRICS to evolve from an investment label into a powerful geopolitical force. The world now hungers for a more balanced multipolar order. BRICS began as an acronym in a 2001 Goldman Sachs paper, grouping Brazil, Russia, India, and China as the next economic giants. Initially, it was just an investment term, no political alliance, no shared ideology. But the label resonated. The four nations saw it as recognition of their rising status and a platform for common interests. In 2006, their foreign ministers met informally at the UN, discovering shared dissatisfaction with the Western-led order. The first formal BRICS summit in 2009, amid the global financial crisis, called for a more democratic, multipolar world. In 2010, South Africa joined, making it BRICS and expanding its reach to Africa. The group moved from annual summits to coordinated positions in global forums and concrete cooperation in health, science, security, and finance. The transformation from economists' acronym to political bloc was complete. BRICS was not built on ideology or military alliance, but on a shared belief: the global system needed reform. The bloc had arrived, determined to make its presence felt. From a catchy term to a real force, BRICS became a symbol of the changing world order. Its journey was remarkable, driven by necessity, not convenience. The world was now listening. BRICS stands apart from Western alliances through its core principles: national sovereignty and non-interference. Members reject the West's tendency to impose values or intervene in others' affairs. They advocate for mutual respect and a more equitable global governance system. BRICS calls for reform of institutions like the IMF and World Bank, arguing these no longer reflect today's realities. The new development bank, founded in 2014, is a key achievement. funding projects and lending in local currencies, reducing dollar dependence. The bloc is building alternative frameworks for trade and finance, including a contingent reserve arrangement and increased use of local currencies. This isn't just rhetoric. BRICS is actively constructing the architecture of a new world order. Their initiatives challenge the dominance of Western-led systems. In 2024, BRICS underwent its most significant expansion at the Kazan summit. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE joined, boosting the bloc's demographic, economic, and geopolitical weight. The expansion was strategic, adding major energy producers and anchoring Africa's potential. BRICS became a diverse coalition spanning continents, political systems, and economic models. This diversity is both a strength, representing the non-Western world, and a challenge for cohesion. The BRICS Plus era signals an open, dynamic platform, not an exclusive club. The bloc now offers a third-way partnership based on development, sovereignty, and reform. The 2024 expansion marked the rebirth of BRICS as a champion for a new global equilibrium. The expanded BRICS bloc is a giant, home to 3.5 billion people, over 45% of the world's population. This vast human capital is a massive market and a driver of global demand, shifting economic gravity away from the West. By purchasing power parity, BRICS now surpasses the G7 in global economic share. The bloc's combined manufacturing, infrastructure, and innovation are reshaping global supply chains. Strategically, BRICS controls over 40% of global oil production and significant natural gas reserves. Members like Brazil, Russia, and South Africa are rich in critical minerals for green energy and tech. This economic and resource weight translates into real geopolitical influence. BRICS is no longer reacting to Western agendas, it's setting its own. The bloc's power is economic and demographic, not military. The world must now reckon with this new heavyweight. Europe's alliance with the US once seemed unbreakable, but by 2026, talk of engaging with BRICS is real. Economic headwinds, sluggish growth, high energy costs, and sanctions fallout make BRICS an attractive partner. The bloc offers a vast market for European goods and access to critical resources, potentially outside the dollar system. Politically, leaders like France see BRICS as a path to strategic autonomy and greater global influence. Europe could become a bridge between the West and the global South. Yet, the pivot is divisive. Eastern Europe remains wary, fearing a betrayal of Western values and NATO security. Still, France's pursuit of observer status and business lobbying show the tide is turning. Europe faces a stark choice: ideological loyalty or economic pragmatism. The rise of BRICS has set up a new global rivalry, the established G7 versus the ascendant BRICS. The G7, US, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, champions liberal democracy, free markets, and Western-led institutions. BRICS is more diverse, united not by ideology but by the goal of reforming the global order for greater equity. The G7 relies on military alliances and economic power to enforce its rules. BRICS wields economic scale, demographic heft, and resource control, emphasizing sovereignty and non-interference. The G7 uses sanctions and pressure. BRICS builds alternative institutions and rejects political conditions on aid. This isn't just a clash of interests, it's a competition over the future rules of the global game. The G7 seeks to preserve the old order. BRICS demands a new settlement. The world must choose between a singular liberal vision and a pluralistic, multipolar future. This tension will define geopolitics for decades. In 2026, the world faces a choice: division or cooperation. One path leads to rival blocs, fractured supply chains, and escalating tensions, a new Cold War. This would undermine global prosperity and the ability to tackle shared challenges like climate change and pandemics. The other path is reform, accepting a multipolar world, reforming global institutions, and sharing power. Competition would remain, but within a framework of shared rules and legitimacy. The actions of leaders, West and BRICS alike, will determine if the world finds a new equilibrium or fractures under rivalry. The world is watching and waiting.